and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. This is the main show, number 77. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys?
To my left, the sick guy's back.
Yeah.
Anthony
He's not
Fisher.
dead.
All right.
But he still maybe has a year left. We're not really sure.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been fully fixed yet.
Nobody really knows, yeah.
Still sick, but you know what? You're a trooper. You're going to hang out. You're going to tell our side of the Orlando story. That's what today's mostly going to be about.
Dane's going to try to not have a heart attack because he's going to be cracking open
his
Monster
second Monster.
number 2.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
Dane.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Get it.
So,
little ASMR for
just so you know,
at home.
folks,
All right.
it is 12:20 Mountain Standard Time. Dane has cracked his second Monster for the morning. Is that truly your second? Or
This is
possibly your third?
No, it's actually my second. I
Have you
picked
had
up this
any
in the
other
gas station
coffee?
this morning. Nope. Normally I have coffee, but
I was just making sure that you don't
I
have
have
caffeine,
not
other
this
caffeine
morning.
in your system.
well, it was my time of the week to get gas in the car, so I figured I'd walk in, grab myself
Yeah,
a
couple Monsters.
Locomoca.
Treat
and
yourself, right?
Have at it.
Yeah.
Really
That's all
wish
right.
I was sponsored, but I'm not. I'm just saying
It's all right.
things
We
like
did
I
reach
am.
out to Monster to see if they wanted to. And again, they said thanks, but no
nope.
thanks.
Yep.
So,
The
It's the way of the world.
rejection letters are, literally just as hard as
Hey,
getting rejected.
you know what? At least we're trying. At least
Yeah.
they're going out.
Shameless plugs. Okay, so any rate, there's a few things. Obviously, last time Levi and I we
get
talked
these-
about the Orlando
Well,
story.
Should we
Let's
get
get
the
these
weekend
weekends.
out?
Let's get these weekends
All
out
right.
of the way.
All right. Sorry, folks. You got to wait then. We're going to do our weekend talk. Don't worry, mine's short. All right, Levi.
You go first. Yours short.
I was here all weekend.
There we go. Really? Because I was
Surprise.
here this weekend, and I didn't see you.
That's funny. There was a point where I actually went away on a secret mission that I can't talk about yet, but should be interesting somewhere down the road. So
You know why?
yeah.
It's because I came in at like 9 a.m.
Oh, see, I don't show up before.
So,
Anyway.
yeah. No, well, I detailed this weekend, and I detailed a very dirty car for a customer of mine. She texted me and said, "Hey, I want to get my car done." Da, 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 da. I said, "Well, we're traveling. I'll be back on this date. I can get you in on the Saturday." So we did. She brought it in. In our text, she said, "How much is it?" I said, $150 for an interior and a wash. She goes, "Okay, I have a dog." And after I'd asked $150, I said, "Without seeing it, but when I see it, the price will go up if it's excessive soilage or has a lot of pet hair." She goes, "Oh, I have a dog." And I was like, "Well, the price just went up." And she showed up, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh,
One of those.
this is now a $250 interior."
Nice.
Yeah.
So took me 5 hours, start to finish, but I made $250.
That's good. The money averages per hour.
It was perfect.
Is good. Perfect.
Yeah,
It makes
just
sense.
fine.
That should be a good segue into You Bet You Wish You Had One of These.
That was the only thing. I showed up this weekend to pick some stuff up because I had some chemicals I needed to try and test, and I thought this would be the perfect vehicle for it. Plus, I forgot to pick up Terminator when I left,
Yeah.
and I needed more carpet fabric clean and protect. So those were two things I forgot to get on Friday when I left here.
Shoot.
So I was frustrated because I didn't remember till I was like literally like on my street headed home. I was like, "Oh no, I'm supposed to get that stuff." So I just thought, well, I'll just come in the morning. So I did, but yeah, I wished I would have gotten one of these to play with because the car was perfect to be demonstrating and see how much it could scrub, how much it couldn't.
So for the folks at home who can't see but are listening right now, what is
Go on there and check it
this?
out. It's one of our new interior scrub mitts. We've been working to try and make it the best looking, nicest, simplest, easiest design we could. Obviously,
It's got a name, but we're not gonna give.
It's got different uses.
Yet.
Again, this is a product we've been playing with. You guys probably saw it when Matt was visiting this summer. So we're going on almost 8 months of working with this fabric,
That's
testing,
how we roll,
trying
though.
to
we
see.
test stuff.
Yeah. So we don't just grab stuff and then put it out there, but
No.
there's a lot that's fun with this. Anthony's found it's great for dog hair. Yeah. I would have loved to have tested it on this carpet because it was a very short pile. And see, I was using a pumice stone.
Yeah.
But it would have been fun to test this on there, as well as cleaning and scrubbing all the plastics, leather, and vinyl on the interior, because this was a perfect specimen to actually make it happen and actually get a lot done on it. So I was very bummed. I have another car coming in next not this weekend, but the following weekend. So I'll probably try it then.
Break into one of those.
Yeah, and see. So that was really cool. Got that done. Sunday, the wife and I took a little day date.
Nice.
And went to just go grab some lunch because, again, I'm leaving this weekend.
It's true.
Anthony and I are going to be headed to Denver for the OG event. We leave Thursday.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a way to, we were talking about it, and one of our goals this year is to go out more.
Nice.
It's something we didn't do last year. We didn't go out on dates a lot. Literally, I can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
It's just hard. You get into the cycle of you come home and it's just we got the kids and you do that stuff. So one of the goals this year was, one, I want to be home more. So I don't want to travel as much, which is why we're cramming everything in these 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So then we don't have to leave again till May, so we can all have some good family time. And then, we'll cram a bunch more into another couple months and then we're home again till SEMA.
You kind of block it out. Yeah.
That's kind of our theory right now. And so with that, I wanted to stay, try and figure out ways to make it work for us to be able to go out and do stuff. And, we thought about going to a movie. We didn't see anything on there that we really wanted to see. Everything was either right at the Dollar Theater or getting ready to go to the Dollar Theater.
Yeah.
So for us, it's we've got our theater at home. We'll just wait till we rent that.
Sure.
So we went to Old Chicago, got myself a calzone.
Ooh.
My wife got herself a calzone. We wandered around, hit the bookstore downtown, hit Mixed Greens, checked out that place, got some stuff. Got my daughter a Worry Stone. Just some fun stuff. It was a good day. My mom came over and babysat the kids for a couple hours, so it was good to just get out and just me and her. So that was fun. So an easy kind of start, and then Wednesday I'm going to take half a day just to do that too, so I can just be home, hang out with the family. The kids will be back in school, so hopefully my wife and I can have another little afternoon date and hang out and it's a goal that I set forth this year. So also Wednesday night I'm going to try and hit spin class again because I did it this week. Let me tell you, folks, if you've never done spin class, it will destroy you.
Yeah, well, it's crazy.
It's
Burning.
Dane, I almost want to take you just because I'd love to see you on a bike for an hour.
I've done bikes for a half hour, 45-minute periods, not a full hour.
This is, and I ride I'm on when I exercise, I'm on a bike for 30 minutes a day. I do that, but dude, spin class is something else. And I did it last week and it was awesome. And for those that are wondering, a great spin class towel to take with you is
16 by 27 sport towel.
It is a good towel.
Hey.
That is a great towel for the gym. But what I use for spin class is a fender defender.
Did you?
What?
Really?
Took a fender defender with me, washed it and everything beforehand, and took that with me and use it because it's lightweight, because you sweat profusely. And I'm not a big sweater.
You can lay that over the handlebars, right?
Yeah, because you're over it, and so you're sweating all over the bike, and so and you don't realize how much you sweat. So I got that, and what I loved about it was it never felt wet,
Nice.
because it's that synthetic. It's a ultra suede, micro suede.
Yeah.
I was able to wipe my face. I was able to throw it over my neck and not feel too hot.
Whip the person next to you.
Yeah, I
if
could
they're
throw it
you know
out,
what I mean?
snap them, and
You're keep up the pace, man.
Get going.
Just
I can't go any. I can't get away from you. I'm
Sir,
stuck.
please stop whipping
I
me
am
with that
pedaling
towel.
faster. It was good. So it was one of those I was glad I got back to the class because I literally, guys, I did a spin class and then I've just been. Let's just say travel and the Christmas season and all that and the food
It's caught up with all of
caught
us.
up
It
with all
adds
of
up.
us. So I've started eating I'm not going to say keto, but I've been eating.
I don't want to say I've been eating healthy or anything like that.
Oh, God,
I don't
say that.
Because
I mean, there are people listening. I have to keep up this certain personality.
Yeah.
So, but I have been eating more less low carb. So I've been trying to watch the amount of carbs I take in. I'm drinking more water. I'm going to try and start doing spin class a couple days a week.
Yeah.
Right now I'm started out once a week because that's all my legs can handle. I need to get built up so that I can do some more riding. Plus I've got a tandem I need to take out.
Nice.
And I actually want to ride it this year, do stuff. So anyway, so that was my weekend.
Yeah.
Pretty fun, pretty simple. Just looking forward to the trip this weekend. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, you guys will have fun. It's short. So.
Yeah. We'll be back at the Omni.
Yeah.
You're home away from home, Anthony.
It is. I love that.
So, Anthony, what did you do this weekend?
Well, I want to start this off by saying thank you to all of the people that have reached out with all the love and support.
Literally,
of my
I was
sickness.
reading some too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you guys are killing me with this because it's funny because I think like some of you guys are serious, but some of you guys are also joking. But like, truly, it makes me feel good. All these people that care about, they're like, is Anthony alive? Is he sick? Is he coming back? It's awesome. I feel cared about. Thank you very much, guys. It's a good feeling, but it's also funny to me because, like this sickness is beyond anything that I thought was, I don't know, even possible. I mean, where do I even start with this? So just kind of giving some back information. I got sick on the Friday before we left on like a Monday or Tuesday is what it was.
We were going to leave on Tuesday and you got sick on Friday. And Jeff had been sick on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He was
correct.
We were hoping he was going to clear up, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes Anthony being sick.
Yeah. And I don't get sick often. Like I truly, I mean, I might get like a small like 2 or 3 day cold maybe once a year. But I would say realistically, if you were to say when's the last time you got the flu, it would be 8 years ago. I mean, I'm one of those guys that gets sick like every once a decade, and I get it out of my system, then I'm good to go because I've never gotten a flu shot or anything like that because my immune system is pretty good. I ate a lot of dirt as a kid and I drank from the hose. Yeah, I've been pretty money.
You took precautions.
I did all the things that I was supposed to do, and basically I got sick. And it was one of those things where I'm like, this will go by pretty quick. It's just a simple sore throat. Probably slept with the window open or a fan on, and it got really bad over that weekend. But part of me sitting there thinking, oh, I got a trip to go on. I got to get over this. So I went to the doctor. They say, hey, you got an ear infection. We don't recommend flying if you can avoid it. But I'm like, hey, I don't really have I don't have a choice. So they gave me antibiotics and things like that. But that's kind of where that sickness began. And here I am now 2.5 weeks later, still at about 70% recovered. So this actual weekend, was a lot of rest, a lot of hanging out. I did go see Spider-Man, that movie, the Spider-Man movie, which was pretty good. I really liked it.
Into the Spider-Verse or the...
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. And I saw that. But I watched a ton of movies at home. I mean, this whole last week...
How far did you get into Supernatural? What episode are you on?
Oh, I didn't get into that. I started watching some random...
Such a waste, Anthony.
Well, because I want to say... Started watching new episodes of the Grand Tour.
First one started, I forgot that.
Last week, so I had to watch that.
I have not watched that yet.
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked that. And other than that, though, I watched a ton of. I had like this weird last week because I was sick for several days still, and I stayed home.
Anthony was gone for most of the week last week.
Yeah.
I was on this weird binge of watching strange movies from like the early 2000s. So I watched The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. That was one of my favorites. Yes. I remember seeing that in the theater, my friend.
The weirdest movie.
I watched that in the theater. I was like, oh. And then I downloaded the soundtrack on like Napster back in the day.
Weirdo. So it was a bunch of weird movies like that I was just kind of like rewatching that I hadn't seen. And so... but again, this weekend was a lot of doing that. I what's it called? Had to run a couple errands, just kind of get back to real life and an everyday life, and that's kind of hard after being away for so long and then not being 100% when you get back. But I'm trying to think. Other than that, what else happened this weekend? Sorry, I got kind of like a dead brain right here. I also went back to the gym for the first time.
Nice.
And that's been pretty nice. But I went back to the gym, and then I also helped a neighbor move a treadmill upstairs. And that's kind of where I got to talk.
Great idea when you're sick.
Well, I got to talk about this sickness a little bit because it was great because they're like, hey, Anthony, we heard you were sick. Katie told us. And I said, yeah, I'm going on like 2.5 weeks. And it got really quiet. And the guy in the house looks over at me, and he's like, did yours start off with a sore throat? I'm like, yeah. Did you get fever and chills? I'm like, yeah. He's like, did you have congestion? I'm like, yeah. Were you kind of airheady? I'm like, yeah. Was your ear clogged? I'm like, yes. And so he's saying all the right things, and he's just like, okay,
you got the full bone.
You have what I have, or you have what I had. And I said, oh, no way. I'm like, okay, well, I'm hoping I'm over it because I'm 2.5 weeks in. And the guy looks at me, kind of puts his head down. He's like, it was a 4.5 weeker. And I'm like, what? 4.5 week? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I felt that way for about 4.5 weeks. So I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got things to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've been sick for too long. And the guy was like, yeah, it's super weird because it's not like one of those contagious things because
Nobody else got it in his family.
Because he's like, yeah, because nobody else got it in my family. He's like, did you give it to anybody? I'm like,
We're all like, when's it going to happen?
well, I'm like, no, because Katie didn't get sick. Everybody else has been fine.
Yeah, your roommate's not sick.
And so I'm sitting there like, so it's weird, and I don't know how it all worked, but I'm hoping that eventually I'll start to gain my superpowers here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is one of those evolutionary sicknesses where I come
it's
out on
changed
top.
your DNA. It's
You're going to
mutated
become an
it.
X-Man, and it's
His new superpower is not not over microwaving pizza. That's what's going to be your new
it's
superpower.
it's ad-libbing and watch
He's going to
Wednesdays is
know
what it is.
28 seconds.
Like
is
I'm the
perfect.
best at cutting my nails to
Yeah.
where they're like just perfect.
Yeah,
and,
it's like perfectly manicured, and you don't even try.
yeah, it just happens. So
It's going to be one of those weird
The opposite of
powers.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
All right.
So still waiting on that, but I'm going to save my voice because I have a lot to talk about on this rest of this podcast here because we were catching up from part 2 of
Correct.
our trip, right?
We got a
so,
lot to talk about.
Dane, do you want to take it away from where I guess where
Do
you
you
guys
want to give a
last left
shout
off?
out first?
I was going to say, before we get into our side of things, I did want to point out, Levi, you were part of the Points and Polishers podcast celebration.
The celebration, their little party. So,
Celebration of life, yeah, I like it.
yeah, DJ Patterson swung by the booth, said hi, said, "Are you guys coming tonight?" I said, "Hopefully, we'll see," but that was all. And we talked about wanting to get them on and us, doing a little crossover.
So you and my dad went.
So-
we did not get the opportunity,
Yeah.
so we missed out. But
So
wanna hear how it went.
Jeff and I went over there. We hopped in a ride with Bob and Bob Phillips and Keith Duplessis and Justin Lobato and Rennie Doyle. We
Full house.
We hopped in the Denali and headed over there to the party. Rennie so basically anybody that got a glass got to drink for free.
not a bad deal.
So they were handing out glasses at MTE to all their friends and things, which was a pretty neat idea. So he said, bring the glass and you'll get to drink for free. So Rennie doesn't drink. Bob, not a big drinker. Justin had his own glass.
And you don't.
I don't drink. So Rennie's like, well, I don't drink. I was going to give it Bob's already got a glass. Justin's got a glass. Like, I don't really. So he gave it to Jeff.
Very nice.
So Jeff was very excited to have that, and your dad proceeded to go around and give a couple beers.
Good for
but
him.
this party was awesome because, oh my gosh, my chair just went down. Hold on. Let me pop myself back up again here.
Oh, yeah. Get in there.
So, party was great because everybody who basically was a detailer at Mobile Tech was there,
Nice.
Yeah.
So
and it was held at the bar at the hotel. So I texted Dylan and said, "Hey, we're at the Pints and Polishers party," and so he came down after dinner. But it was fun. Like, it was really neat to see like Jeff and Ian from Auto Fiber.
Yeah.
They just sat and continued the rest of their conversation, like that they'd been having, the day before.
yeah.
Like, your dad didn't move from that spot.
No, because
The two of them just sat and talked towels.
It's a unique
and business,
experience,
right?
That you can't really. I mean, there's not too many people who can relate on that particular subject as much as Ian could with us. Like, we
Right.
really understand how it all works.
Yeah,
so.
I hung out with the G Technique guys. I hung out with the guys from Carolina Detail Supply,
Nice.
Brandon Ward and his wife and his guys. A couple of Detail Mafia guys came over to say hi. I got to finally meet and say hello to Jennifer Turcott. Saw her there. Rupa's people were there. Flex was there. PNS was there. Billy was there. Billy Bogus and Justin Day came over and hung out with me for a while.
That really is a full house.
It was
Yeah.
there was probably about 100 and maybe 100 people in that party.
Cool.
Everybody was there. So really good party. So shout out to the guys at Pints and Polishers podcast.
Pints and podcasts.
It was really a good party. Kudos to you guys for putting on such a neat event during Mobile Tech. I never would have thought of that. So
No, it's great.
that was really good. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that was one of the nights at Mobile Tech. But this is the other half of what Dane and Anthony's adventures at Mobile Tech were. So let's
Right,
start
right.
out. First day, Wednesday, was it Thursday? Wednesday we went to Disneyland or Epcot.
Yeah.
You guys already covered that, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Thursday, so we're setting the timeline. So this is Thursday morning. I've done my class. You guys got to be there. We did the fire drill. We got to walk out.
Yeah.
We got to set up our booth. But Wednesday night, and we teased it on the last podcast, you guys got a call from a text, basically from Adam LZ, saying he was in town.
Yeah.
Are you guys in town?
He
Can we
didn't
hang
know
out?
we were in town.
Yeah.
After we had repeatedly texted him.
So no, I mean, so I've been in contact with Adam for like the last couple months, and because he knows that we come down every January, and it was one of those to where really I hit him up just to say, hey, we want to check out the new shop because he's got a new new HQ there, and he was like,
new
oh,
LZ manufacturing.
He was like, absolutely, just come down, you know, we'll figure it out once you get back into town. And so this last month, I sent him a couple texts, and I'm like, yo, what day works best? And he's like, oh, just text me a little bit closer to the date. Text him, didn't hear anything back. And I was like, you know, should we just show up? I don't know. It's like 30 minutes away. I also don't want to surprise him and be like, yo, what up, dude? And, you know, him be like,
you never want to be that guy who
I don't
like
wanna be that-
awkwardly shows up and makes somebody feel like they have to do something.
No, I don't want to be
That's
that
not
guy.
us. We don't do that.
And so, but, you know, let me preface this by saying that Adam is such a chill guy to where also we're also the type of people to where we overthink things on our trips because we have so much stuff going on. We kind of have to plan things.
Yeah.
And Adam's not like that. Realistically, if we would have just showed up, he would have been like, oh, what up, guys? Let's hang out. Let's do something.
Well,
and
we plan, but we're also like seat of our pants adaptability people.
Correct.
So just because we make a plan doesn't mean we're those people who freak out if things don't work out like the plan you made.
Correct. So, and Adam's one of those guys like, why are you guys texting me? Why are you guys making a plan? Just show up, right? And
just show up.
And that's where I'm like, well, we got other things going on, dude. We kind of have to make a plan. So what it was is on Wednesday, after, you know, a Levi's thing and hanging out with, I hang out with Alan all day and doing everything with everybody else.
Shout out to AM Details.
Yeah.
Shout out to AM
What's up,
Details. Yeah, we'll get back more to him here in a little bit. But after that, though, it was at nighttime. I'm sitting on the couch, like, you know, just playing on my phone because that's when the sickness was.
That was Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah.
That was kind of when the sickness was fully forming. It was becoming its final form, and power level was over 9,000. It was getting pretty bad.
You were getting hot.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hot and sweaty, mom's
Great
spaghetti.
time to be working.
And so that's when, like, I saw Adam was back in town, so I shot him just a reply to his story. I'm like, yo, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm in the shop. What are you guys doing? I'm like, oh, we're here in Florida. He's like, are you kidding me? I thought you were going to text me when you were in town. I'm like, we did text you when we were in town. And he's like, oh, crap. What are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, come hang out. So basically what we had to do is, this was Thursday at this point now, right? So Thursday we went and dropped you guys off. We hung
Dropped us off back at the house, and I took a nap.
Yeah. And
Nice.
you.
It was really nice, let me tell you. What'd you guys do?
so we
Worked.
We packed up as much stuff as we could. And this was kind of the thing. We did bring supplies, but we didn't bring everything we needed. And I'm sure you guys talked about this.
Some stuff got unpacked to be measured and weighed, and then never got put back in.
And it was towels, it was more product, it was more things, and it was just like, crap, we totally, you know, spaced on it.
So we had like 75% of what we needed.
Maybe
Correct.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we grabbed everything that we had, we threw it in the car, and then that's when me and Dane, you know, started making our grand venture. And it was funny because, you know, me and Dane on every single detail we go on, the first thing we do is we stop and get candy and energy drinks because we don't know what's going to happen, but we know for sure we're going to need sugar and we know for sure we're going to need caffeine. And so we get to the HQ there, and it's really cool. It's actually right next to Precision
PSI.
And right across the street from BC Racing. So it's like this whole cool little
It's
complex.
like a mini mecca of tunerdom. It's awesome.
It was really cool. And
So when you see the video and you see a bunch of Beamers in the parking lot, that's why. It's PSI next door.
yeah. And I guess I should say on the way over there, we did have to make a stop to Pet Bros.
We went to Pet Bros.
We went to Pet Bros and we picked up some random things that we needed because
a bucket.
We picked up like a bucket. I picked up like a scrub pad. I picked up some sandpaper. I picked up like a sanding block. Just some random things that I thought I was going to need.
Now, one moment I'll interrupt. I want to say this is one of the reasons I love running and working for the rag company versus somewhere where it's going to be much more strict. we have the ability to go and pick up like this other stuff and just use it, and it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be all like corporate funneled. No. It has to be our brand thing. Like I think some people get hung up on
we
that.
wanted it to be our brand. We packed stuff that was our brand, but it didn't work.
We're not but you know what? We're flexible. We can work
got
with
left
it.
behind here in Boise.
It's not the end of the world. So I just really appreciate that flexibility.
It's one of those things where we just do it on the fly, and it is what it is. And so we're using Pet Bros buckets and things like that.
We can deal.
So we showed up at Adam's warehouse, and it's just as cool as you would think it would be. They got lifts there. They got, the place was covered with Adam's cars. Everything from the 335i was there. A guy named Alberto Big Boost was there. He has this new Jeep Wrangler, which I don't know if you guys know this.
That dude's funny.
But the new Jeep Wranglers have this new engine in it that comes with a... you
can get a Turbo 4.
A Honeywell turbo in it. A Garrett turbo. Super, and it sounds just like a car. It's a really interesting Jeep, but they had that. They had Adam's Chaser up on the lift. They had all the cars everywhere, but in the middle of all that was the brand new R33 GTS Skyline, and right off the bat, it was funny because seeing Adam and seeing the rest of the team, the way we act is it's not like, hey, nice to see you. It's been so long. It's kind of like, what up, dude? What's the plan? It's kind of like we never really had a lot of time apart in the first place. So
that's nice though.
Gave us the rundown of the car. We kind of had a plan going forward with the Wash Wednesday and kind of what we were going to do. And ultimately, there was two ways I could have gone. I said we can either wash this car and have it be a short video and we're out, right? Or we can do the full thing and go balls out. Yeah. Only if I have the help of Matt Schulman, which is Adam's detailing friend and Adam's own detailer.
Right.
Matt was there, and Matt was like ready to throw down. He sees us, and he was just like, "Let's do this, guys. He's like, you guys got polishers. What do you guys bring?" I'm like, "I brought 60% of what we need. Let's get this thing done." So.
Now they can see the logo.
We started, Dane. I want to say we started around 2:33.
The sun was pretty low.
It was pretty low, so maybe even later than that. Maybe around 4 is when we started. So
probably closer there.
We got a really late start. But as far as the condition of this paint, it was a respray. The R33 was trailered backwards, so the whole back of the car was hammered.
Yeah, it took us a while to figure out that's
why are all the bugs
issue was.
all over the back.
Well, because there were a ton of chips on it, but they were all focused on the rear. Like they had been hit head on from the rear, so it was just kind of like
I used to get cars from the auction that would be on the top of a carrier, but it would be backwards, and it would come from across the country, and the whole back of the car would be just splattered with bugs.
Ugh.
And you're like, the first time you see it, it throws you off.
Well, I guess what I was curious is how the rock chips were so bad from being trailered backwards, unless it was literally getting trailered on a rock road.
Yeah, or just the fact that maybe it was a lifted truck that was carrying it on a trailer, and just it didn't have good mud flaps, and it was.
And to get really into it, you think about the aerodynamics of a vehicle going forward versus going backwards.
Yeah.
The way the air hits the car and everything, the objects that are flying at it from the backwards position are probably going to hit it more head on anyway.
Well, and on
than
truck,
something going over where
behind.
The airflow kind of goes up and
it's
over.
Super weird.
So.
Yeah, it was really
again
strange.
Science. Be a detective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, after inspecting it, though, realistically, was a respray job a good job? No. It was probably, realistically, I'd probably say an $800 paint job. It was just, it had clear on it, but the clear was in, it wasn't.
It wasn't amazing.
No,
to
was
the point where you were questioning whether there was clear or not.
Yeah, it looked.
Well, it could have been
It looked so bad and so hazed over to where I'm like, is this single stage? Like this looks so. I'm not going to until I do a test spot, but it was just so bad and it was so stained. That's what it was. Ultimately the clear was stained, and it was also extremely. What's the word I'm looking for? It's orange peeled. Sorry.
Yeah.
Still kind of brain fog. Extremely orange peeled, but. We had a plan going forward, so we foamed the car, washed it, got it all cleaned up. After that, pulled it into the shop, did our clay towel decon, using the Optimal Ultra clay towel, used the multi-sprayers with O&R, got that all cleaned up. But again, probably the biggest area that we were lacking in was the ability to clean pads and the number of pads we needed.
That was one of the things we packed was a bunch of pads and a pad washer.
Oh, we packed a ton of pads.
And then when we opened the crate, we found,
no pads.
Ooh.
No pad washer.
Yeah.
And
so that was fun.
Yeah. So We really
Good
did
for
have,
you guys.
we
I
had
got to wash them again.
Yeah, we had limited amounts of pads, and we were just washing them on the fly. It was actually kind of funny because what we were doing is we had the Kranzla sitting right outside the door with the white tip on it, so the less harsh tip out of all of them. And what we were doing is we were just spraying down the pads with Power Clean and just pressure washing them out, and then spinning them dry back onto the car.
It was effective, though.
Yep.
It worked.
So really, though, I mean, the car was polishing out. It was looking really, really good. The biggest difference was actually wet sanding the headlights. So the headlights were they were so bad that they just needed some kind of love. And I did the whole explanation. The proper way to do this would be to re-clear them, would be to PPF them, do blah, 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 blah. Really, it's a giveaway car. Anything was going to look better than what it did. And we were going to be coating them anyways.
Yeah.
So just get them cleaned up. We did all of that. Really, Matt kicked some serious butt, dude. I mean, without him,
Kind of reminds me of you in terms of how
he was
efficient he is at just getting
he
stuff
was really
done.
efficient. The one thing though is he's very used to working with a 3-inch, right? And so he hasn't really got to experience using a long throw as much.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny because his first reaction is to grab a 3-inch to fit it in into a bigger
do a
area.
quarter panel with it.
And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go back over this with a foam pad. And I hand him the 21. I say, here you go. This is gonna do that whole thing.
It's got a 6-inch pad on it, bud.
And he was just like, do you think this will work for this? I'm like,
That's what it's made for, bro.
I'm like, and he's like, but do you think it's gonna fit in there? I'm like, you will make it fit. I'm like, that's. He's like, but what if it hits the trim? And we were using the last cut, so we didn't have to worry about trim staining or anything like that. It was just a lot of things that did work out during that detail.
He was stoked to use the last cut because
he
he hadn't
loved it.
used it before, so it was a cool learning experience.
Well, he was
for
using
him.
some brands correcting compound, and he was used to not the last cut.
hitting that stuff. Yeah.
And but anyway, I'm trying to think. So going into that detail, though, I mean, going into it, it did go pretty long. It went till about 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm being, completely honest. And that was mainly for the fact that it was a lot of pad cleaning. It was a lot of going back and forth between polishers, we were sharing the same bottle of compound, right? If I could have gone back, I wish I could have found an empty thing, and split it.
Yeah.
But we coated the car, Optimum gloss coat. We got the tires coated with the Optimum tire coating. The funny part was, though, is that was my third time using the Optimum tire coating. And going into it, I knew how effective it was, and I knew the look we were going for. It was funny. So after the first application, it had that nice, dark satin look to it, right? Matt's looking at it, and he's like, just hit it one more time. Just hit it one more time. I'm like, dude, it's going to get pretty glossy. He's like, just do it. I think it's going to look so good. So beware, people. You do 2 coats of that stuff, it's going on glossy. And it's going to...
It turns into a SEMA car.
It is going to be shiny, and it is going to stay that way. Because I put it on the second coat, and we were sitting there, and I'm like, I think that's going to dull out. And I'm looking, I take a towel. Nope. That's it.
Those tires are now permanently shiny for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'm like,
you get blinded every time they're out in the sun. It's crazy.
And even Matt was like, well, I didn't think they were going to be that shiny. I'm like, yeah, they are shiny AF right now. And so it was, so just know.
They wondering AF stands for Air Force.
Yeah. So 2 coats, you're going to get some gloss. 1 coat, you're going to get that satin look. I was happy with it. It looked really, really good.
Well, it's perfect. It's a giveaway car. He's going to be putting on his channel. It's got to have some bling.
Between what showed up and how it finished after we left, whoever wins that car, they're going to be stoked. I mean, it looked good.
Yeah, it looks so much better. But anyways, so we wrapped that up. It was kind of funny though because we cracked open in the fridge. The mini fridge had a couple drinks in it. We cracked those open towards the end because we were like, we need
sustenance.
We need something. Like we've worked so hard on this. And so we left there at 3 o'clock in the morning. Had about a 45-minute drive back. By the time Dane was back in your room,
you went to bed,
footage.
but I still had to unload footage for the next hour after we got home. So
and this was I would say
sleep.
this is when the power levels over 9,000 of the sickness really kicked in because I got back in the car and Dane looks over at me and I'm just sitting there shaking, like shivering,
cold.
and he's like, and I'm like, dude, I feel weak. Like I feel like I'm about to pass out weak, and he's like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna get you home. So got home, and it was funny because in 5 hours we had to get up, and we had to do it again. So
So you came home, you pounded some NyQuil, passed out. NyQuil runs anywhere from 4 to 6 hours through your system.
Yep.
You literally woke up I woke you up 4 hours later from the time you crashed.
Yeah.
And what was fun was that was the night, guys, that Dane came through the house on 2 hours of sleep to wake up me and Jeff. And Dane was like, getting everything ready. I'm up. Got to get rolling, guys. Got to be in the truck by this time. And we're like,
I was on that second wind.
who is this guy?
Who is
What
this
time
guy?
did you come home last night? And Dane's like, well, I got home about 4. I was in bed by about 5. I was like, and you slept for 2 hours because it's like 7:15 and you're waking me up. And he's like, yeah, ready to go again. And I was like, all right, dude.
I'm going to crash
man.
so hard later that day. And sure enough, that didn't happen because
Nope,
I was
nope,
not
nope.
allowed to. We had more to do.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I did forget to mention that halfway through the detail on Adam LZ's car, he was like, hey, do you guys want to go get pizza? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, let's go pick it up. Anthony, you're riding with me in the 335i.
Yeah.
You haven't been in it since I've done
Yeah.
some stuff. And I said, okay. So in that
I
car,
gave you a GoPro.
I got a GoPro. We do have footage of this. We will post it up eventually.
Very dark, but I'll make it work.
So when I rode in, it had 600 wheel horsepower, something like that. The first time, the second time, he said it was over 750 wheel horsepower, and it truly was the fastest car I've ever been in. Like it was already sketchy fast, but this was like beyond. Like this was kind of like the guttural. Like
It hurt.
Like we might.
You're already
we
sick.
We
It's just
might
gonna make
die,
you more
and I'm not sure. And so we went on a quick rip, and dude, it was insane. But it was definitely one of those one of the first drives that woke me up on that trip. But anyways, so it's Friday now, right?
Yep.
So you guys are getting ready to go to the expo.
Yeah, Friday was the expo started, and we luckily didn't have to be there till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, 10. The thing opened at 10.
Right.
But we were able to get there at 9, where the previous day we had to get up at like 7 a.m. and be there before 8. And it was, or be up at like 5 or 6, and then
it just
there,
unfortunately
so.
didn't time out perfectly for us
No,
because we had to go.
because you
and
guys
we're
had to
like,
leave
we'll drop
too.
you
So
off.
it was a drop off, so you guys could bounce to get there.
But
So-
we had to be at a place that was almost an hour away at the same time the expo opened. So it was
Right.
just
But-
like, you're getting dropped off early.
So what it was, though, is there was that moment. There was another one of those moments in my head where I'm like, this can go one of two ways, because we're loading all of the equipment into the back of the truck there,
Suburban
and
that we rented.
the Suburban that we rented, and Dane's like, so what do we got for detail supplies, right? So keep in mind, we already didn't have a lot,
And you used a bunch of it.
and we used a ton of it, right, the day prior,
More than we anticipated.
Meaning that, and the thing is not only did we use it, but we used it and abused it to the point to where we didn't take it back home with us. And I said, hey, Adam, Matt, keep this stuff because we don't have I don't even have time to wash it and clean it in the time that it's going to take for me to get back on the road, right? So we had no drying towels, we had no nothing, we literally had nothing. So I'm loading up in this car and I'm kind of taking inventory. I'm like, okay, so we have 4 pads total, 4 pads. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It was like, I think it was like 5 or 6, but 2 of them were pretty much already ripped through.
Haggard.
And
beat up. They've been used.
yeah, we had a bag of, I want to say 30 Eagle 350s.
Yep.
Is what we had.
Like the only towel we had left was
Yeah,
just
because
a
we
bunch
packed
of
like
Eagle
800 to
350s.
come because Jeff was giving them out at the booth.
we had half a bottle of Last Cut Compound. We had the 3 polishers. We had Bead Maker. We had what was ever left of our coating. We had the tire coating, and we had 1 Scan Grip pen light that I got from you. That I think I may have left in Florida. And
Thanks, Anthony.
sorry, I'll get you a new one.
I'd cut him a break if I were you.
Good thing
So-
we've got a bunch of them downstairs.
Yeah.
So, I'm
So
not too worried.
so we were packing up the stuff, and that's when and that's really actually I would probably say when that was when my sickness hit me like full fledged,
Right.
to where my voice was gone and I was like squeaking when I was talking, and
I just looked at it, I was like, this is not happening right now. You are not doing this right now.
no, it was one of those, and I was looking at Dane. I'm like, shit, dude. I'm like, I mean, it's dang. What am I supposed to do? And he's like, just get through it. It'll be okay. So we stopped. I think we got coffee and whatever else we got, and then we dropped you guys off.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
I don't know if we stopped for we did stop and get coffee, didn't we? Yeah.
Yep.
I think we stopped to get.
And then we
we got
and then
something.
you dropped us off. But anyway, so you guys headed over to
Tavarish, Florida. Is that how you say it? Tavarish?
I think it's Tavares, something like
Tavares?
that. But that's where Freddie,
Tavares.
a.k.a. Tavarish, on
lives.
YouTube, that's probably where he stems his name of his channel from.
Yeah.
Although people just call him Tavarish because half of them don't know his name's
Yeah.
Freddie. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I spent most of the time sleeping or resting on
Yeah.
the way over there because I was still so out of it. The NyQuil did not wear off, by the way.
Yep.
And We roll into town. First thing we do, we had to stop to a gas station. We had to grab cough drops. We had to grab, water, sodas, things like that to get us through this detail. And we end up showing up at his shop. And so this town is very small, by the way.
There's a lot of like pockets of towns in Florida that we're just not used to this kind of
we're not
like
used to
layout.
seeing.
It's
like,
interesting.
There's a distance traveled, and then there's a small little town, but it's a very distant town to where maybe part of the strip of the town will be in one area, then there's another strip, and it doesn't make any sense on how
but
it's
it
laid
seems
out.
like there's a tuner shop in every single one.
Which is
I mean, that's
strange.
cool.
So we go to Freddie's shop. His happens to be right across the street from another tuner shop, literally in the same parking lot.
I love that shop.
But pulling in, first thing I see is this Bentley. And I look at Dane and I say, nope, no.
Hold on. Let me point this out. Originally, when we... in the case of like Adam LZ, that popped up as a last minute, like, oh, we want to shoot this too. But originally our plan was just, just Freddie, just Tavarish. We were going to do the detail on his Mercedes S600 that he had, which is a silver car. You've probably seen it in some of his other videos. Well, the day we were supposed to go over there, he texted and said, we're going to have to work on a different car, guys, because the transmission is not playing nice today. So unfortunately, that one's going to be parked in the back. I have some other cars we could do, the wash on. Of course, we're flexible, so we don't go, we can't do it. We're going to go, we'll find a way to make it work.
But you did not know.
He has a black Bentley Continental GT. Many people may recognize it. Same with the S600 as being previously owned by Hoovie's Garage, Tyler Hoover. So, so people are familiar with these cars, and it makes it fun to work on them because they're going to get eyeballs. But basically, in this case, you saw it, and you said, no.
Yeah. No, it was immediately, and it was one of those things to where, I mean, how do I explain this? I mean, I was already depleted. I was already dead. My body was already sore, tired, and every detailer knows this. After you get into one of those details where you're bending in all shapes and forms, you don't have the proper, seating equipment. You're not using the things that you know best to where you can feel the most comfortable. Right? I didn't have my detailer's helper belt on me. I didn't have my rolling stool. I didn't have any of those things. So I'm having to contort and change my body into all these weird positions for this detail, and my body's just sore and I'm sick. And I see this Bentley, and this Bentley is not only just extremely dirty, but the driver's side rear window is taped. It has tape all over it, and it wasn't like the kind of tape where you're like, that's just gonna come off. It was baked on tape.
It was like old packing tape. Almost.
Well, it was packing tape, and it was the worst kind of tape that it basically. I don't want
to say
the
glue the heat had caused the glue to release and work its way to the clear.
Into the clear. It'd become one. The clear and the tape had become one thing.
And for everybody who saw Freddie's video, everybody is an armchair expert and says, just put
gasoline
this on it, and gasoline, WD-40, Citrol, any of these things. They're like, I would have gotten rid of the tape right away. I don't know why you spent so much time on it. No, guys, this was baked on, and we used
this
a
was
few
some demon tape.
things.
No, when you sent me that picture, I was like,
the people
you guys got your work cut out for
I saw
you.
people like, this detailer doesn't know what he's doing. I could have gotten rid of that in a minute. It's like, no, you weren't there. Trust me, this was not coming off. That
you weren't there,
easy.
and I've removed some tape. Right, I know everything about using eraser.
You're not an idiot. You know what you're doing.
I know the tools out there. I know what I know what I'm capable of doing.
But people got to understand, it's the tools that you guys have on hand.
Yeah, correct. And we are in a small town where I don't have access to do all the hardware stores, all the places that I need.
You don't just carry a wax wheel with you everywhere you go.
So it's one of those things most people didn't understand. So I see this car.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the time, right? Because we told you guys that, hey, we might be coming back to Mobile Tech Expo.
Well, because we had
the
big IDA meeting that needed to be happened, and
the Pints and Polishers,
and the Pints and Polishers party,
and all these different things. So we kind of felt maybe we should cut the time of this detail in half to be able to do this, and get back home. Because ultimately, I didn't have a lot to work with. I see the car.
And you're tired.
I see the car. I'm like, I don't have the supplies.
But looking at it, you knew it was going to take some time.
What's going to happen? But we ended up meeting Freddie, right? Freddie came out, and it was one of those cool things to where our personalities, all three of us, it was just synced instantly.
Yeah.
And we are all so similar and such like the same person that it didn't feel
time flew.
it didn't feel transactional in the sense of, hey, we're here to do a video. Let's do this.
There's that weird distance you get with some people, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm just meeting you, and okay, that's cool. Sure, we'll do this thing, and then we'll go by.
It was one of those guys where
this
I'm like,
was like we wanted to hang out with them.
Yeah, like
They
I
were
felt like I could make
so cool.
I could make an inappropriate joke immediately, and he's just gonna die laughing, and we're gonna be friends.
Yep.
And so after talking with him, and he's like, well, what are you guys thinking? And I was telling him, hey, we can do a wash and clay and try to clean it up. And he's kind of looking at me like, you know what, I really feel like a buff would do this car the best and would really make for the best content. and I look at him, I say, dude, I'm like, you're not wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just, I did a detail yesterday, and I'm only one person here. And I look at him, I say, do you know how to use a polisher? And he's like, yeah, I can help you. Like, I'll help you throughout this thing. And it was at that moment I look at Dane and I say, we're doing it. We're doing it. And Dane's like, oh crap. Like
we're going to be here all night.
It's going to be another late one, boys. And so we unload the stuff, and from there, it was one of those things to where, we had a lot to do. Again,
but you guys looked like you had fun.
We did.
If you watch the Tavarish video, it looks like you guys had a lot of fun.
It would be a very different story if it was just kind of like one of those weird transactional, like, oh, hi, meet the person.
No, but we were friends.
But
man.
no, we were like fast friends. It was so cool. And his buddy Andrew, my God, that dude is hilarious.
So Andrew has his own channel called Wrench Every Day, and that dude is so fun. I don't think he's probably maybe top 10 funniest dudes I've ever met. And
he's like a professional voice actor who's not actually a professional voice actor. It's amazing.
But we so we tackled that car. You guys can check out the full video. I don't want to explain everything through the process, but ultimately what it was a ton of decon. Of course, washing it, and we did everything with a truly limited amount of items. We had 30-something Eagle Edgeless 350s to work with.
So let's talk about that for a moment, the wash portion, because I'm just thinking of like the comments I saw in this video and stuff, and people go, leave it to a towel company to find the way that uses the most towels to wash a car. That was our option to wash it that day. People were like, oh, just get a hose. Well, Freddie did not have a hose at his shop.
We had to borrow a hose.
His neighbor's shop had a hose. We used that to fill the bucket, and we took it from there. But we made do with what we had because we knew what would make the most sense with what we had to do the best job. Yeah. And in that case, a multi-towel method made sense.
Wash,
But I love when all these people who don't understand detailing or scared of rinseless or waterless washes look at it and go, you're going to scratch it all up just using a towel and do it. And it's like, no, the way we did it was actually safe.
The safest method.
That makes it.
People who don't know.
There's always armchair quarterbacks.
I love the guys like, foam cannon 2-bucket wash. That's the way to do it. Like I ask Matt Mormon, and I'm like, oh.
And the whole time, Tavarish has an Obsessed Garage shirt on.
I'm like, oh, you guys don't.
That was
even
funny too.
know.
There were comments where they're like, Obsessed Garage and the Rag Company in the same room. What, you think they're gonna fight or something? I was like, what?
Like I don't know how to say. We are woke, and these people are still sleeping. Like I don't know how else to describe it. So
we know each other, guys. We know each other.
So we knocked out the wash. Did the whole clay towel thing, got it all cleaned up, but ultimately that tape was the biggest time suck because we had limited amount of supplies. He did have goo gone, which was great. But for people wondering, we did pick up lacquer thinner, and we did
because that's Levi's go-to for anything like that.
The lacquer thinner was not cutting it because the tape was still on there. It wasn't just adhesive. The lacquer thinner was removing the adhesive, but it was the tape.
The actual tape.
It was the real tape that was in there. Now, did we have plastic razor blades? No. Did we have Optimum car wax with the nice, perfect type of razor blades to use the Ivan LaCroix
freshly
method?
honed
no.
Razor blade?
We did not have that. We did not have any of that. So really, the nail was sadly the fastest way to get through this thing.
Yeah.
And so Tavarish was on that. Freddie was knocking that out while I was knocking out the other parts of the details. We did a 50-50. It did have a great transformation from before and after.
And I will show all this when I do the video on it. Like, his video was great, but he did it in a very short amount of time. He got a lot of content out there, but I'm going to show, like, the longer version.
Details.
A lot of the details and explanations as to what really went into this.
Yeah.
So people will get a better understanding.
But really, though, and the kicker on this one, so back to polishing, though, again, we had 6 pads to work with. Most of these pads were already pretty well weathered. Now, to wash these pads, Freddie's only running water that he had was in his bathroom sink, right?
Right.
So we were all out of power clean. We literally had nothing left. So
we didn't have a pressure washer.
Didn't have a pressure washer.
We ran over to Ace Hardware.
At Ace Hardware, we picked up some was it Purple Power?
I think it was Purple Power.
Purple Power or Super Clean, whatever it was, some type of degreaser. We were cleaning pads that way. We used some diluted Purple Power, Super Clean, whatever it was, spraying out the pads, washing them out, spinning them dry. It was sad. It took a long time, but it worked. And
that's what matters.
And that's what mattered
most.
most.
That's the beauty of that is like you guys
We're
are
resourceful.
You're resourceful and you're finding ways to make a car shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doing with what you can and what you have.
And that's what people don't see.
That's the crazy thing is like, like you didn't roll up with a cart full of everything that you needed to do this.
There are plenty of people who
you were making it work with a couple products.
Given up immediately. They would have looked and said, "Ha, no thanks," and just driven away.
Yeah.
But no, we're like, no,
and that's what we're gonna make this about.
It's kind of like taking like a guy that works in a sandwich shop, right? The guy that works in a sandwich shop that has all the ingredients can make a perfect sandwich, right?
Yeah.
But you pull that guy out and you hand him a piece of bread and a couple pieces of meat and cheese, and you say, "Hey, make that same sandwich that you made at that sandwich shop." He's gonna say, "No, because I don't have the supplies or the ingredients I need," right?
I can make a close approximation, but it's not going to be
perfect. And that's where, what we do is we look through that pantry and we find the weirdest, most random things that we can find to make it work, and we do it, and we made it happen.
But that's a sign of a professional, somebody who can act well under pressure.
And it was also the amount of takes that we took, because I'll be honest, guys, my voice was squeaking throughout that entire video.
He was very kind. He didn't include most of the cuts.
So we had to cut a lot of that out, and but we had a lot of fun, dude. The jokes were great. Really, that was the one biggest motivating thing, is that if I was working with people that I didn't enjoy working with, Dane, Freddie and Andrew, I probably wouldn't have been the same person, and I wouldn't have done the same quality of job. But because being around all these people that I like are my friends, I had fun doing it, in the sense that it was still hard work, but I had fun. And all I wanted to do was sit back and shoot the bull with you guys. But I knew that every minute that I spent not working was time that car was not going to get done.
Yeah.
So I really had to kind of hustle down.
Yeah.
But we went across the street. We got pizza. Really good little pizza place.
Shockingly good for like a little hole in the wall place.
Went and got pizza. But really the whole day, I mean.
Then you guys got home about 2?
You got
home about 2 o'clock?
Yeah. We
in the morning?
Yeah, and that was what we did for the final car. We did put the Optimum tire coating on there. Looked great. And then we just bead makered the car. Yeah. And the bead maker looked absolutely phenomenal.
They made that black pop.
We did polish out the headlights on them. They looked great. And
we
really
didn't sand them this time. We used the last cut.
But again, folks, this video, the Tavarish video, is out.
It's out.
So you guys can check it out.
It's already been
watch
seen
it
like 409,000 times.
It's man, it's crazy.
It's really fun. It's super funny, and I love it because I think this is one of the first videos where my personality and the jokes that I made
it was
somehow fit. This is how I am in real life, and I like that was portrayed appropriately, to where I'm not just professional,
It's hard appearing in other people's videos where you don't have any control over it. You're like, oh, gee, I hope people don't think I'm a jerk or, something like that. But when you saw it, like just the whole environment we had there
was
was
just
so
myself,
positive and so fun, I think it really came through.
Yeah.
Even though it was backbreaking work.
Yeah. So we got done there. Drove home.
I gave Freddie all my footage. We went to his house.
Went to Freddie's house.
Oh, this is a nice house.
Cool house. I found out that the prices of Florida houses are shockingly lower than what you would expect. We won't say what, but it was. Let's just say that Idaho. Yeah,
I thought it was affordable here, but apparently Florida's got another thing
I'm
going.
about to go get my vacation home in Florida and stay there for half the year. I'll be one of those what are they called, snow bunnies, snowbirds, right? So from there we got home. At that point, I actually did die. I actually did go home.
That was the night. You guys came home. I was awake still.
Yeah, and I didn't actually. What was funny is that I didn't actually drink any NyQuil that night. You know what I did?
No.
I walked to the fridge. There was 2 Pacificos.
Yep.
I cracked open both back to back. I stood at the fridge and I drank one. Sat down on the couch, drank the other, right?
Yep.
And I said, I'm going to bed now, because that's just where I was in life.
That's the kind of day it was.
Yeah, that was the day. Yeah,
that's where I was.
Yeah. So then you crashed, and then the next morning we had to be up again.
Yep. Yeah.
8 o'clock.
Yep.
And your work at that point was over, but mine continued.
Yeah, but you guys still had to come and work the booth.
Yeah.
Anthony had to work the booth because I had half a day that I had to do skills validation, but you were working on the IDA video.
Right.
And you had a whole bunch of stuff you had to get, tons of interviews and stuff that you had to work on. But Anthony, you were a trooper.
Yeah.
For doing what you could.
I want to apologize to everybody that came to the booth that listens to the podcast or watches our videos.
They expect a certain Anthony, and what they got was not that Anthony.
Yeah, you did not get me, and I felt so bad because all these people were like, hey, I love watching your videos, big fan of the podcast, and I was just sitting there just dead, and I'm like, thanks, my voice was gone, and I truly felt the worst I'd felt on that trip on that day.
That was the first year of Mobile Tech for me. Was like that. I had no voice by the second day of Mobile Tech, and it was gone. And I
felt really bad.
I was coughing and hurt. Like watching you gave me flashbacks to when I went my first time. Like I was just dead.
Vocal cord strain.
I apologize to everybody, but thanks to everybody that stopped by and said hi. I'm sorry I wasn't more help because there was people coming up. Hey, and I felt the worst when they said, "Can you tell me the difference between all these towels?" I look at them and I go.
Yes.
I'm like, Levi.
He's not mad. He's just
Dane,
suffering.
Yeah.
Jeff, anybody, please take this person. I can't talk. So we got to help people out. Dane was out running around with his head cut off. You were out training. Me and Jeff were kind of manning the booth, going back and forth.
And luckily, it was a short day.
Yeah.
The show was only from 10 to 3.
What was amazing was that Alan from AM Details showed up with Tasha, and they hung out. And what was cool is there was a couple people that came up, and I said, actually, Alan's here. He can dive in and tell you about some of these towels while I
That's awesome.
While I go to the bathroom, and it was kind of cool to have Rod and Jody next door. They chimed in a little bit and they got to help out. But it was a good day to kind of recollect with everybody in the industry that just came and said hi and hung out for the day. And
have listeners and fans and everybody come in. You got to hang out with Scott and Alejandro and some of the guys swing by that are avid listeners.
Another Anthony. There's a lot of different people that
Luis was nice to meet.
Oh yeah,
Luis,
yeah. And it was cool because IK was right behind us, right?
Yep. So you got to see Jim and Iban.
I got to see Jim and Iban, and they were like, "Hey, we have something to talk to you about these sprayers. Let's talk over this." And I'm looking at them like, guys, can we have a phone call? Like next week. Today's not the day. My brain isn't all 100% there on sprayers. I'm like, oh no, it's okay. But it was cool because a lot of people had questions on the sprayers. They would refer to us, as being, the distributor, being able to help people out, and it's just nice having that relationship with those guys.
Yeah.
We were there until what time, and then we closed down.
We
right?
left there about 4.
Yeah, because I had to run
because that was when the show was over. Then we started breaking down. You guys had to run and grab some stuff.
Yep.
That was still at the house that we needed to put in the crate.
Yep.
And we were all out of there by 6 o'clock. I think. Yeah. We were done, packed, ready to go, and then we went and got some tacos.
Yeah.
And
I hated those tacos.
They weren't that great.
I'm actually thinking about that right now. How bad those tacos were.
But they were. The place was quiet enough. It would have been nicer if we would have got to go to Flacco's.
The place
Tacos.
we wanted to go was quite busy.
Yeah, and no one wanted to wait for an hour.
Apparently.
But we're comparing Flacco's Tacos to a place called Tijuana Flats.
Yeah.
Right. That's already a bad sign.
Tijuana. It's called Tijuana.
I'm sitting there like, why are we choosing this place?
Yeah. But then we just went back to the house.
Yeah.
We literally just called it a night on that Saturday night.
Yeah.
Everybody was dead.
Once
we all sat down.
All of your joints are just kind of.
Well, I got the second weird batch of chills, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like freezing, and I'm like looking over, it's 75 degrees in the house. I'm sitting there like shaking, like, what's happening
Joke's
right
on
now?
you. Dane actually got a hold of the air conditioning and turned it down to 68.
Did he?
No, mate. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Really? Because I woke up one morning and it was 68 with the AC on.
No,
and
it's
your
probably
dad,
automated. I didn't touch it.
No, because I set it to 72 when we first moved into the house. And that was it. And then your dad was like, "Oh, Dane got a hold of it." And I was like, "Dane's already on the bottom floor."
Thanks for throwing me under the bus. I didn't even touch it.
Did you guys already talk about the weird vibes of the house?
Yes, we talked about
kind
it.
of,
3
kind
stories.
Of, but not really. It was just kind of funky.
It was
just a funny
like our
layout.
first year that we went down to Mobile Tech, or when we all went together.
That was
loved
a good
that
house.
Perfect. Literally perfect vibe.
Except for the blinds.
Very beach house vibe. It had the spa, had everything. This house had
it was just cut weird.
It just seen some
the
stuff.
The door
in its
opened
day.
outward. It's like you'd go to the front door and you pull it towards
it felt
you.
Pretty
to get
flimsy too.
The carpet had seen
somebody
some
wanted
stuff,
in, they could get in.
And it was just one of those houses to where The garage had been converted into some type of
Laundry room.
that I hope nobody ever would have to stay in.
It looked like where they basically like, oh, you're a family that's going to visit Disney. Here's how you can pack like 20 kids into one place.
Well, that's what it
It's
was.
like,
That's what it is. That's what most of those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the one we stayed in last year was
It's
very
a
nice.
room.
Yeah, I love. I want to rebook that room last year if we can do it again. But we stayed there. Woke up the next morning, and we were on our way to
Obsessed
Lady Lake.
Garage.
Lady
Went
Lake,
to Lady
right?
Lake to go hang out with Matt and the gang. And that's when you guys got to shoot the videos with the IK.
By the way, how was that?
So we went to the HQ first, right? You guys already covered this. I was out of it. Like I was completely just airhead, just walking around mindlessly. I was just smelling product off the shelf.
Yeah.
Which I will confirm that Car Pro Eraser is one of the best top 10 best smelling
Smells good.
chemicals out there. It does smell really good. But walked around, checked out all the different pressure washers. It was kind of funny because I'm like, Matt, give me some inside information. What's your favorite out of all these? He told me which one he likes. I will not release that info yet.
It was fun. There was a ton of pressure washers there.
There was so many.
Rennie and Bob were there. Kyle Clark was there with his wife Cheryl, and that was fun. We got to meet Ken finally.
Yeah.
Matt's dad.
Ken's the best, dude. He's one of those guys.
guy.
No
Dude,
nonsense.
He sits there and he's just like, what did he say to me? He was looking at me and I was eating a snack. He's like, about lunchtime, right? I'm like, you're telling me, Ken. He's like, all right, I've got myself my protein drink here. And he starts drinking his, and he's like, I'll join you. We'll sit over here on the side and eat our snacks. And I'm like, Ken, I like you, man. I don't, there's just something about you. You're awesome. And we did that, and then we took off from there because Matt
Headed over to Matt's.
head back to the house.
So let's go get lunch. Have
So-
some sandwiches at my house, and we ended up ordering pizza.
Yeah.
Well, so what was crazy, and this is, you guys probably saw the video. We get
If
back.
you haven't, go watch
We
it.
get back to his house. He pulls out the GT3 RS in all of its glory. It sounds amazing. First time ever hearing one in real life. And we're sitting around it. And that's when, I'm looking at it and I'm still out of it. I'm still literally just wandering around mindlessly.
But we
and-
knew we wanted to shoot that IK video. And
Well,
you're like
I
the
wasn't-
IK guy here,
and
so
I
it's
wasn't-
That was the
gotta be
hardest
you.
part. Was I was willing to take it on, but I knew
We
that-
love you, Levi, but it's just
right.
not the
No,
same.
and I
for
knew
the
that.
IK
I knew
stuff.
that. And I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Anthony's got IK down
Yeah.
to a science. He can answer the question because that's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to just, hey man, I'll help you if you need to. But the fact that, we weren't there was, we were there and Matt was focusing it on Anthony.
Well, and I was
He
like,
wanted to do the video.
well,
with
he
you.
he did, and that was kind of the running joke is that we had joked saying, "Hey, can you let us redeem the IK sprayers on
Yeah.
your channel because you kind of you punted them in the woods on your channel and it doesn't make them look
Yeah.
very good." And he was down to do it, but we got there and I'm kind of in a bad mood and I'm like, "What do you guys want to do again?" They're like, "Well, we want to film the IK sprayer video," and I'm like, "Crap, I'm gonna have to talk." And then that's when Matt's like, "Anthony, you got to wake up. We got to get you to wake up." And that's when he reaches over, grabs the keys off his little desk there, off his workbench, and he's just like, "Go take the GT3 RS out. Go take it around the block." And I didn't hear him right because I'm like,
No.
are my ears? I'm like sitting here. I'm like, are my ears messing with me? I'm like, what did you just say? And he's like, yeah, just go take it around the block really quick. And I'm like, look at Dane, and Dane's like, where's the film button?
I was
turn
already
the camera.
recording when he handed
Yeah.
it to
He's
you, but
getting
I was
it.
just so shocked.
Yeah, and
People
I'm like,
think this stuff's planned, man. It's not.
and I'm sitting
that
there,
just happened.
and instantly my mood, I was like, what is happening? But then anxiety ensued over my body because I'm sitting here, I'm like, Matt of all people is giving me this car to go take out.
Do you think he's ever
and-
let anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know. And Levi went to the bathroom really quick. And so I didn't really know what to think, but at the same time, all I could think of was, hey, this is this guy's baby and he is giving me the keys to it. I want to be respectful. So I said, okay,
Absolutely, yeah.
let's get inside it, get in the car, I let him give me the spiel on how to turn everything on, how to get into gear, and
And
how
like
to do all
getting it
that
up
stuff.
to temp and stuff. I know somebody said something about that, but we already had it up to temp.
Yeah,
by the time he was-
and ran over everything, and ultimately, getting out of the driveway, it's just an automatic car, but the feeling of sitting in that car, I know a lot of people want to know my thoughts on it since now I'm talking a little bit more than I was in the video. It really did. It kind of felt like a dream. It felt like a race car, but it felt like, holy crap, like this is the nicest car I've ever driven in my life. And Taken out of the neighborhood, Matt unfortunately has a little gated community where you can kind of rip up and down a couple streets without getting onto the main roads. And I did not feel comfortable taking it out of the main road. He did give us permission to do so.
But you're being respectful.
I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what, dude? If I were to give the keys to my car to Matt, knowing how I am, I would hope that he would be just as respectable, and so I'm like, that's the feeling that I want to give, that I respect his property. So I didn't take it out of the neighborhood. We did rip up and down, a couple times, shifting through paddle shifting. Car is amazing. It pulls like just a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
It sounds, the downshifts are just brutal.
Yeah, it was cool to hear. It was cool to hear it echoing off the side of the.
You said you guys were enjoying listening to it while
you
we
could
were
hear
out.
you guys.
Like,
we
how
heard,
was he reacting?
Oh,
to
Matt
it?
was laughing because he's like, I've never heard listen to my car. So
and
he loved it.
Absolutely brutal, and just a truly amazing car, and it was just enough, right? Like
Yeah.
I didn't overdo it. I didn't underdo it. I did just enough to say, wow, I've actually driven this car.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for the opportunity, Matt. And so we drove it back up, dropped off the keys. I was feeling a lot better.
You were. You came back. It was different. Night and day. It was funny.
And I was
Perked right
like, let's film this video. So we basically, I don't want to say we demystified the IK sprayers, but really what it was a complete walkthrough from start to finish on the IK foamers, on how to produce adequate foam
and a lot
for
of
the
it,
job you're looking for.
Yeah, and to find out what kind of foam Matt was looking for in the first place.
Exactly. And the thing is,
our version of foam it works, but his version of foam was not, and he didn't know. And a lot of it was just a tip change.
Yeah, it was a change of the tips, change of the dilution, and it was, I want to say ultimately it was the attitude, and that was kind of what I was trying to portray in the video, is that, when I'm pumping up a sprayer, I'm not sitting there going, oh, this sucks. I hate doing this, right? Dude, I just get after it. I'm like, I got a job to do. I want this to produce this foam, pump it up, and spray, and go from there. And that's kind of,
and my reasoning, again, goes back to, it's much easier for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can't capably pull trigger sprayers anymore for long periods of time because I have for 20 years.
Yeah. There's a reason.
Like, there's a reason that a pump sprayer exists. There's a reason that and our goal, and my goal, is to try and make things easier on people. So yes, you could grab a pump sprayer. If your hands work, go for it, dude. Grab a good normal trigger sprayer.
Operated
use
thing,
it whatever you want. However,
valve,
but a pump sprayer is designed to utilize. You're not utilizing these little muscles in your fingers.
Yeah.
You're utilizing your forearm. You're utilizing that to try and get you. You're using bigger, stronger muscles than your little ones. So you're saving your body. You're saving the pain.
Well, and that's why
that's all. Like, for me, that's the only reason.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate those comments where people will, say like, okay, I see it, but I realize it's just not for me. And that's totally fine. Where I take issue is the lazy approach where somebody's like, I knew they were crap. It's like, well, you weren't paying attention then.
Yeah.
At all.
Because basically, that was kind of that was like the true test, is that none of that was staged, really.
No.
I mean, it was all on the spot.
You guys were giving each other
no,
guff both ways.
There was no scripting, there was no nothing. Matt just told me, hey, this is what I want, make it happen. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that with a chemical I am not familiar with, and I will show you that I can do that, what you're looking for. And so being able to do that and show him, he's like, okay, so you've helped me in this area. Now I need to figure out on my end what I want to do to make this happen, as a thing on my channel or on, in my business. So it was a good experience. Came out great.
Video looks great.
We had a lot of fun. Check it out. If you're curious on just dilutions or just learning the sprayers in general, I think it's a great how-to.
It does not take that long every time. We were literally just going through it.
We're going through everything. And we're being as honest as possible with it.
An hour-long video on OG.
And then what do we get to do?
And it sets the right expectation of going into it. And I think Matt's expectations were cleared up with those sprayers and what they're capable of doing.
Like when you sprayed it that first time and you're like, there we go. And he's like, what's that? That's nothing. And you're like, that's enough to clean that whole wheel. And then you realize right off that was like in the first 10 minutes.
I want
you're like,
the barrels.
Okay, now I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you knew how to approach it after that because his expectations were different than what was really needed versus what he wanted to see.
Yeah.
And so you just approach it differently.
And then he asked a fun question.
Yeah.
Matt did. After we shot the video, Tavarish was there, or Freddie was there. He came and visited. And then we finished up. Matt washed his car.
Yeah.
We chilled out, ate some pizza, and what did he ask? It's really fun.
Do you want to watch a movie?
Do you guys want to watch half a movie?
Yeah.
And he knew going in, he's like, half a movie.
Yeah.
Let's go watch half a movie.
Matt,
Who
Matt,
asked that?
So
Matt does.
Matt, yeah, he loves his theater room.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a love there that I don't think is portrayed in his videos.
Same kind of love I have for mine.
Yeah, like it was one of those. It's like a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
To where he's like, "Do you want to watch half a movie?" And we're like,
That's his church,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
And so he's like, "Okay, no shoes, no food, no drink."
I have no shoes, but I have food and drink because I have a little fridge outside mine.
Yeah.
he
keep
just
sodas
doesn't
in.
want
No,
something
I'm
else to
talking
clean.
like no water.
No, I know.
Yeah.
He
No
has like
liquid.
his was nothing, no drinks, like
Yeah.
period. Like we walked in, I was like, "Oh, this is a new one. That's fun."
So
Because I'd been in it before and watched. I watched. What's the movie with
Interstellar.
Interstellar? I
Yeah.
watched
Yeah.
Interstellar there with him.
That's
And,
a good movie for sound.
Yeah, it was awesome for that. But I didn't know.
So
I knew we all took our shoes off, but I didn't know about the food or drink. I didn't have. I think I had my drink, but it was dark enough. He didn't.
That was a
know.
cool experience. So walking in there, sitting down on the couch, pulls out his remote, click, all the blinds.
Yeah,
we're
that was
down,
pretty
and you're
dope.
like, okay, it's gonna be like this. Huh?
Yeah, and so right when like the first we were watching, we went through a couple different movies to figure out what we wanted to watch. I think we ended up settling on Venom.
Like First Man was what he watched at first, and then they
But-
switched
Yeah, that
over
was
to
hard to
I
watch.
think right when the bass hit for the first time, I said, "Yeah, that ear infection is really
You can feel it now.
kicking in now." I can
You had
feel
made it that far, and then he goes and proceeds to just torture you.
Yeah, I'm like, if my eardrum didn't
I was
explode,
laughing. I was like, Anthony, look at the size of that sub. It's the size of that desk over there.
yeah,
It's taller. And Anthony's like, oh, I see it.
yeah.
And then
noticed.
he kept jumping up. He's like, that doesn't sound right. And he kept jumping up to try.
Yeah, no, he's
adjust it.
tweaking everything. He's like, I need to impress these guys. I gotta.
No, it
find
was
the
great.
right-
We
Yes.
I had fun. It was a fun time over
Yeah.
there. It was fun. And Matt really wanted to just hang out.
That
That was the whole
exactly
goal of that
what we
whole
did.
event.
And-
Was
and
just
that's-
go visit him, hang out at the house.
And that's the thing. Most people think that we're just these, two businesses,
Very business,
and everything's business,
transactional,
and everything's just talking.
No, we're friends.
No, we're friends. Like
Michelle
we,
sends me a Christmas card every year.
we hang out. Like
That's
we
Matt's
want to
wife.
watch a movie. Like, do we want to film videos and do work and all that
Yeah.
stuff? I mean, I'm like, yeah, because it's fun to do. But do we also want to just chill and not film and hang out and eat pizza? Yes, we also
Well,
want to do
and
that.
Freddie and I did our own Mystery Science Theater over Venom while we were watching it.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, yeah, no, that is really bad.
I actually fell asleep and took a nap in there. I was really trying to make sure I didn't wake up snoring. Like
Yeah, it was.
some of those points.
Yep.
But
It was fun. So we wrapped that up, and then we went to that night.
then we met your sister.
We went back to Disney Springs, met up with my sister one last night, went up to the Edison.
Yeah.
and
Had dinner at the Edison. We took the boys to the Edison. That was a place that Dylan and I and Jeff and Alan and Tasha and Justin went and had dinner at.
Dude,
Nice.
it was awesome.
So good. We had to take him back. We're like, this is a really cool place.
It was just it had really cool vibes. It was a really cool place. But really, I just like Disney Springs in general
Yeah, I do
because
too.
it's got the same magical Disney feeling that
Yeah.
Disney has, but without being in Disney
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah, and there was tons of things to do, like restaurants
if,
and
it's
bars. to
more-
go to.
if you could bring your
adult.
kids there, they would love it. They would have.
Oh, yeah.
They would lose it.
Mhm.
Going to the Lego store, going to all these different
yeah.
places. It was really it was pretty cool. And then found out my sister made me a proud brother when I saw that she showed up wearing a Triumph shirt.
good.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's how I know she's my sister. Wearing a
Hey.
Triumph shirt. And she's
Yeah.
like, there's a Lucky store that sells more Triumph stuff. Do you want to go there? I'm like, absolutely.
You lit right
Yeah.
up.
We are
So first
absolute-
stop, Anthony got himself a couple Triumph shirts, and
Yep.
then we
Not
actually
cheap.
No, but we went to
Not
dinner.
cheap, no.
we went to dinner, and then your sister's like, "Okay, you guys have to hit the cupcake store."
She did say that, yeah.
Sprinkles.
And I was already like not feeling great, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to eat this stuff. But we all went down there, and
I snorted mine.
you literally didn't chew it. Like I looked
No.
over, and it was just gone.
Inhale.
And-
It was like one of my daughter's magic tricks.
And I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm not even gonna eat mine yet. Dane ate his, and like, this is amazing.
You got the s'mores one too.
We all got s'mores.
Yeah, we all got
Okay.
s'mores. I didn't experience it until we got back home, right? Until
Yeah.
I felt, good enough to eat it, and then I understood. Like I ate it, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
So explain
You were like,
for the listeners
You
what
literally
it
were
was.
ready. Like you were like, if I had a razor blade, I would have chopped this thing up and done
and
a line.
just snorted that
Like
thing.
it was so good.
It was called Sprinkles, is what it was called.
It was
The name of the
sprinkles,
cupcakes,
and it
sprinkles.
was. But we got the s'mores.
And they had an ATM, a cupcake ATM machine.
You could pay for
Yeah.
a cupcake, and it would pop one out for you.
Yeah.
So that's how they're crack cakes. They're
Mhm.
crack cupcakes,
Yeah.
is what they are.
So the s'mores cupcake, just so people understand, was at the top. It was a dome of
Marshmallow
basically
cream.
toasted marshmallow cream, and it was amazing because they actually like toasted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Then you go down, it's cupcakey, and then at the
No,
bottom
no,
is graham
no,
cracker.
no.
It was
The
chocolate.
middle, Dane. The middle.
Well,
they put like
yeah,
a Hershey, like a
kiss
hunk
or
of
something.
hunk of Hershey's chocolate
Yeah.
In the
that
middle,
sat
yeah.
on top of the
Oh, yeah.
of the chocolate, but
Yeah.
underneath the marshmallow, and when it baked, it got melted and was gooey, and then the rest was chocolate cake, and then the very bottom of it was graham cracker crust.
That's
I'm
my
so
favorite
getting
part.
so hungry now.
And so, like, you eat it,
Thinking
and
about
like
it.
you took that first bite, and you're like, "Oh wow, this marshmallow is." And then you took the next bite, and you hit the chocolate, and it was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is gooey."
It's like next
And then
level.
you eat. Then you get to the graham cracker. It was like, "Oh, that's where it's all at."
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
done.
It was
Boom.
amazing.
It was
Done.
like one of those memes to where like you see like the first two pictures, they're very similar, then the last picture's all shaky. Like that was me. That
Yeah.
was me eating that cupcake.
Well, like I was thinking, why didn't I buy 4 more of these for myself for the flight home?
Knowing
you
you
would've-
would have.
Well, you
I
ate
should have.
an entire thing of monkey bread.
I
on
did.
the flight.
And you know what I'm going to do on Wednesday?
Get
Oh,
some more
man.
monkey
I'm going to
bread.
get some more monkey bread for our trip. I think that's going to be my new pre-trip
It's your thing.
thing.
Throwdown, yeah.
Yeah, let's get me some monkey bread.
man.
So said bye to my sister. So Alex, if you're listening to this, I don't know if you listen to the podcast. Thank you so much for everything you did.
She did find
Seriously.
out that we were towel famous.
She did find out. She did. That was the funniest thing. She took like a Snapchat with me and the rest of us
Yeah.
and posted it.
Yeah, and someone was like, "Oh my gosh, I buy my detailing supplies and listen to the podcast while I watch all those videos. I didn't know that was your brother,
Yeah.
all day Anthony."
She's like, are you guys famous? I'm like, we're like towel famous,
guess.
whatever that means, you know.
It's
And
fun.
So that was
No.
really cool, though.
But Alex, if you're listening,
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so much. I love you. And so going from there, we went back to the house. We got a good night's sleep, right?
Yeah, we
Finally,
literally-
for once.
we didn't have to get up till like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went back home. It was like 10, and we just slept.
Well, and that was that morning we went out and found out that Freddie had already put his video out.
Well,
That
we had
morning.
like a couple hours, so we
Yeah.
packed up. We put the beds back where they belonged.
Oh, you
Yep.
told them about the beds, right?
Yeah,
we had to
yeah,
put the
yeah.
beds back.
That was funny.
We got back in the truck. We went and had breakfast at our little diner down the street. Kind of hung out for a bit, and then we just headed back. We stopped got a picture of us in front of Gatorland for fun,
Of course.
and then drove back to get gas in the rental car, drop the rental car off, take the shuttle back, get on the plane, and fly back home. But yeah, Freddie had already released his video the next morning, so totally crazy about how fast it was because he was hanging out with us all day.
Yeah, when he was hanging out with us
Sunday.
at the
He's
home
like, "I haven't even
theater,
started it."
He was like, I haven't even started it. Oh, I'll go do it for a few hours tonight. And then the next morning, you're like, wow, he kicked that out fast. And
Right.
He did a good job.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So
No, it
fun.
was great video. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it. It
Yeah.
totally did that whole.
it captured the essence of the fun.
It did
Yeah.
that whole detailed justice.
Yeah.
I mean, the '80s like Miami
Music.
music,
Oh, it was
like
great.
Synthwave.
It was
It was
just
fun.
it was awesome. So, yeah. Anyways, we flew home. It was great to get back home. That's like that. Everybody's like, Anthony, you gonna make it? I'm like, I just want to get back into
Yeah.
Boise, and then I can die. I'm not dying
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't want to
That's
die
a
in
rule.
Florida. That's my life goal. But yeah, then we got back, and I mean, it was I took the next few
You
days
took
off.
almost the whole
Yeah.
week. But yeah, no, it was good. This week we're going to be headed to, like I said, just Anthony and I
Yeah,
are going to be at Rupes for the OG event with PNS
yeah.
and ourselves and Rupes hanging out with all the folks that are going to be there for that. So we're excited to go back down to Denver for that. Excited to have some barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be good.
I'm hoping that if I can get, because right now I'm like 70% better. If I can get to like 80, dude, living the
There we
life.
go. Nice.
Living the life.
Nice.
That's all I want.
Thankfully, this is a quick trip.
Yeah.
Literally just a 2-day trip down
Yep.
and back.
Yep.
Easy
Yep.
peasy.
Yep.
Before our next trip in a couple weeks, we head to Atlanta.
3 weeks, yeah.
We'll
2
be
weeks.
there a
That's
little
about
longer.
2 weeks, I
Yeah.
think, for that. We'll be there for the G-Technic Serum Summit. So
Yeah.
if you're coming, you can come out and see us. We'll
Say
be there.
hi.
It'll be fun.
And then home for a while because I got things to do.
Then
I
home.
got a yard to maintain. I
Yeah.
got things to do around the
Just
house.
in time to rock out.
I still got my
Got
Christmas
more
tree in my
videos
house that
to
I got to
edit.
get out. I'm going to turn it into Dane if I don't get that thing out
So
fast
I
enough.
want to thank everybody that has been commenting
Yes.
on the podcast, commenting on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dane, take down your tree.
Yeah.
So
I love
please
that.
keep that up.
Yep.
Please. I
We
want
love
to
it.
see at least
Yep.
3 or 4 more comments.
Just harass me
that
about
literally
the tree.
say, Dane, take your tree down. And then put whatever month it is. That'd
Yeah.
be awesome. Like
I want
Dane,
like,
it's October.
I want-
Take your Christmas tree
I
down.
want Dane's tree to have
Even
a
though it's
review.
like January.
I want
Yeah.
like Dane's
Oh.
tree to have like one of
Let's
those
do a
Amazon
review.
reviews.
Yeah, let's do a review on Dane, or do a review on Dane's tree, please.
Yes.
That would be hilarious.
Okay, yeah, that for the next like however long we decide, just leave reviews, whatever star rating you feel is appropriate to encourage, me to either take down or keep up the tree, whichever side of the fight you're on.
Oh,
And
that's
then
a good one.
so
Yeah,
just talk
because I
about
have
it.
seen
Yeah.
comments below of people saying,
I've seen
Dane,
support
keep the
too.
tree.
Yeah.
Do it. Screw those guys.
Dane's tree is raising testosterone levels across
Yeah.
the country. by having
Maybe
it up.
when Christmas in July starts, I'll take it down just to be.
mind melt. Oh, you're gonna mess it everybody
Yeah,
up.
I'm gonna mess everybody up.
All right,
So.
let's wind it out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. By the way, like they said, leave us reviews. Leave us, like star ratings and stuff on iTunes because that really actually helps. It gets us in front of more people's ears, I guess. But if you're watching on the Rag Company podcast YouTube channel, make sure you share that with a friend too. We want
do.
more people to subscribe. Obviously, the regular Rag Company YouTube channel is doing pretty good on the subscriber count, but we got to build up that podcast too. So if you're on one, join the other. Maybe.
Yeah, takes a second.
So yeah, anyway, guys, we appreciate you listening, and we hope you enjoyed this one. It went a little longer than usual, but I think we had a good time kind of catching up.
We
So
did.
next week, it's just going to be the back to normal.
There we go.
So there we go. All right, guys, have a good one. Adios.
See ya.
See ya.